The Galactic Council's Grand Hall was larger than many entire cities. 47 distinct alien species filled their designated seats, all eyes fixed on the center stage. The atmosphere was thick with tension. Many were furious, others bewildered, and a few amused. In the middle stood Ambassador Zira, her body shimmering like purple crystal. As she moved, light rippled across her surface. She was furious, visibly so. Her voice rang out through the vast chamber. "The humans mock us all," she declared, her tone rising. "When we issued the challenge to settle the matter of who owns the Kepler 442 system, every advanced race knew the rules. You bring your greatest ships, your strongest fleets. You display your might." She turned slowly, her crystalline form reflecting the chamber's lights as she eyed the gathered aliens. The Zephyrions brought 300 warships, graceful vessels that maneuvered like birds in flight. The Corvan Empire sent their full Fifth Armada, 500 colossal ships capable of wiping out planets. Even the pacifist Etherans, who despise war, contributed 50 vessels. Zira paused, gesturing to a corner of the hall. And the humans? They sent one ship. A single ship. The room erupted with noise. Some aliens laughed outright, others grumbled with disdain, and a few just shook their heads. One ship against thousands. Either a bold move or sheer madness. Far from the council, Captain Jake Morrison stood aboard his ship, the USS Defiant. It wasn't humanity's largest vessel, but it was unique. Jake, aged 52 with graying hair and weary eyes, had roamed space for 3 decades, sir, called Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez from her console. She was young, barely 25, with neatly tied dark hair. "We've got another message from the Galactic Council. They're asking if we want reinforcements." Jake chuckled softly. "Tell them no, Amy. We're ready." Commander Lisa Park approached. She was his capable second-in-command, always thorough. "Captain, I've run the numbers. We're up against over 3,000 ships. That's overwhelming. Firepower." Jake gazed out the bridge's wide window, the stars scattered across the void. "Lisa, they're not enemies. They're competitors. They're about to learn a truth about humans." "What's that, sir? That we don't need big numbers to win?" Back in the council hall, the debate over humanity's strategy continued. The Vaulter might have initiated the challenge, but now the whole galaxy was watching. This wasn't just about a star system, it was a contest of strength and weakness. The Corvan Ambassador, a massive four-armed being with crimson skin, stood. Perhaps the humans misunderstand the challenge. Maybe they think it's just a game. Etherian representative, a glowing orb of soft light, replied in melodic tones. Or perhaps they know something we don't. Humans are odd, but not fools. Zira's crystal body gleamed brighter. Odd. They'll be annihilated. Once our fleets confront theirs, nothing of that little ship will remain. Aboard the Defiant, Jake's crew worked efficiently. 200 humans staffed the ship, each handpicked. Just for skill, but for innovative thinking. Chief Engineer Bobby Clean reported from engineering. "Captain, all new systems online? The AI's running at peak?" Jake nodded. The ship's AI, affectionately called Charlie, wasn't like the static computers other species used. Charlie could adapt, reason, even crack jokes. Combined with human ingenuity, the Defiant was far more than it seemed. "Charlie," Jake addressed the ship, "are you ready?" A voice answered through the bridge speakers, sounding nearly human. "I'm ready, Captain, though statistically our success is only 67%. "I've survived worse," Jake replied. Dog Corrine White. The ship's science officer looked up from her console. She was a slender woman with blonde hair and sharp, intelligent eyes. "Captain, I'm detecting immense energy readings. From the other fleets, some of these ships are city-sized." "Size isn't everything, Karen," Jake replied. "Sometimes the smallest key opens the biggest door." Lieutenant Rodriguez turned in her chair. "Sir, the Council requests all fleets to take their starting positions. The first test begins in 2 hours."
Oh.
Jake surveyed his crew. They were humanity's best, brilliant, courageous, and most importantly, capable of thinking unlike anyone else in the galaxy. "All right, everyone," Jake said. "Let's show them what humans can do." Navigator Helen Carter, a quick-handed redhead, began plotting their route. "Sir, where exactly are we headed?" "Into history, Helen, straight into history." The Defiant glided toward the test zone. Behind them, thousands of alien ships followed. Some were sleek and swift, others enormous and bristling with weapons. A few looked like crystal or pure energy constructs, but none resembled the Defiant. The human ship was dark gray, sleek, but undecorated. It looked simple, almost austere. Many aliens who saw it thought it seemed weak. They would soon realize their mistake. As the armadas advanced, Jake's mind wandered to Earth. His distant home was small but had taught humans vital lessons. Survival didn't come from brute strength, but from intelligence. Victory wasn't about having the most weapons, it was about using them smarter, sir. Commander Park asked softly, "Do you really believe we can win this?" Jake smiled. "Lisa, we're not just representing Earth today. We're carrying the human spirit, and that spirit never backs down from a challenge." The galaxy was about to learn why humanity had sent only one ship, and why sometimes one was enough. The Helix Nebula, one of the galaxy's most breathtaking sights, swirled with vibrant gas clouds like a cosmic rainbow. But today it was a battlefield. The Galactic Council had seeded the nebula with thousands of fake asteroids and computer-controlled enemy ships. The test was clear. Navigate the nebula, destroy the fakes, and reach the far side. The fastest fleet with the least losses would claim victory. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the Defiance Bridge, observing the other fleet's preparations. Through the expansive window, ships filled the void. Some resembled flying cities. Others moved in coordinated groups like metallic schools of fish. "Look at that," said Commander Park, pointing to the Zephyrian fleet. 300 ships, moving like they're dancing. The Zephyrian ships were exquisite silver birds with elongated, elegant wings. Their coordination was flawless, as if guided by a single mind. They turned and accelerated in perfect harmony. "And there's the Corvan Empire," added Lieutenant Rodriguez. "Their ships are enormous." Corvain ships were the Zephyrian's stark opposite, dark, hulking, weapon-laden giants. Each was the size of a small moon, advancing slowly but inexorably. A metal wall of doom. Dr. Karen White monitored her. "Readings. Captain, I'm detecting energy patterns from ships I've never encountered before. Some species are using technologies we can't even comprehend." Jake nodded. "That's all right, Karen. We don't need to understand their tech. We just need to outperform them." The test began with a resonant signal that echoed across the stars. Instantly, thousands of ships surged into the nebula. The Zephyrians spread like a net, covering every approach. The Corvans formed a heavy line, obliterating everything ahead. Other species applied unique tactics. The Etherans deployed waves of light to confuse foes. The Mantis Collective fielded shapeshifting vessels, and the crystalline beings fired pure energy beams capable of slicing through. For 30 minutes, the alien fleets battled through the nebula. Explosions flashed within the swirling gas clouds, painting space with bursts of light. Laser fire crisscrossed like a deadly fireworks display. The fake asteroids shattered into fragments under relentless fire. Then came humanity's turn. The USS Defiant approached the nebula's edge. Compared to the enormous fleets that had entered before, it looked like a mere insect. On the Council observation ships, aliens burst into laughter. Some even placed bets on how quickly the human vessel would be obliterated. "Begin your test, humans," ordered the voice of the Council overseer. Jake glanced around his crew. "Charlie, are you ready?" "All systems green," Captain replied. The AI threw the speakers. "I've analyzed the tactics of all prior fleets. I'm confident we can do better." "That's what I like to hear. Helen, take us in." "Aye, sir." Navigator Helen Carter's fingers danced across her controls. "Here we go." What happened next silenced the watching aliens. The Defiant didn't rush in like the others. It didn't fan out or form rigid battle lines. Instead, it danced. Ship weaved between the fake asteroids with the grace of flowing water. Whenever a laser beam fired, the Defiant was already gone. Twisting and spinning in ways that seemed to defy physics, it was like watching a metal leaf caught in the wind, but this leaf could strike back. How are they doing that? Asked the Zephyrion commander from his flagship, his voice filled with disbelief. Their ship's too small, grunted the Corvin admiral. It can't possibly have the power for such maneuvers. They were wrong. The Defiant carried a secret. None of their mighty fleets possessed. Charlie, the AI, was learning with every moment. It studied how the simulated enemies moved, how they fought, how they attacked, and if the AI guided the human crew with precise instructions. Charlie, Jake asked, what's the best route through that asteroid field? Adjust course 17 starboard. Captain, the AI answered. There's a gravitational current that will accelerate us and shield us from enemy sensors. Chief Engineer Bobby Clean called from engineering.
Right.
Captain, the AI is pushing the systems beyond anything I've seen. It's making the engines outperform their design limits. The Defiant glided through the nebula like a phantom. Where other fleets blasted paths open, the humans found pre-existing routes. The ship rode natural gas currents to gain speed, hid behind asteroids, struck at the fake enemies from unexpected angles. Sir, said Weapons Officer Danny Ross, Charlie's given me target coordinates I never would have noticed. It's like the AI can predict the future. It's in a way it can, Jake replied. It's calculating thousands of scenarios every second. It knows where the enemy will be before they do. The fake enemies mimicked real ships, clever, swift, and lethal. They destroyed many alien vessels, but none had faced a ship like the Defiant. The humans didn't engage head-on. Instead, they wielded the nebula itself as a weapon. When enemy ships tried to encircle them, Charlie led the Defiant into an electrically charged gas cloud. The pursuers followed and were destroyed by the energy within. Another enemy group tried to block the Defiant's path. But the ship performed a gravity-assisted maneuver, slingshotting around a dense asteroid. The abrupt change in direction disoriented the foes, causing them to collide with each other. This is incredible, Dr. White said, eyes fixed on her readings. The AI is manipulating physics like I've never seen it, turning the entire nebula into a machine. Alien fleets had needed hours to traverse the nebula. Many lost ships to the enemy drones. Some got lost in the gas clouds. A few had simply given up. The Defiant completed the course in 43 minutes. When it emerged on the far side, it was pristine, not a scratch. It had destroyed every fake enemy it encountered, expended less energy than any fleet, and made the galaxies. Best militaries looked like amateurs. The council ships fell silent. No one could comprehend what they just witnessed. How? Whispered the Etherean representative. Impossible, grunted the Corvin admiral. Ambassador Xeris Crystal. Body glowed furiously. It's a trick. It must be a trick. But it wasn't. It was something the galaxy had never faced before. Human creativity fused with artificial intelligence. The Defiant hadn't just passed the test, it had rewritten the rules. Jake looked over his smiling crew. Together, they'd just shown the galaxy what humans were capable of. Well done, everyone, Jake said. But this is just the beginning. He was right. The real challenge was still coming in. Compared to that, this had been the easy part. The next test would be revealed the following day. But something was wrong. The alien fleets, once friendly, were now behaving oddly. Ships shifted into attack formations. Weapons began charging. The atmosphere in space had shifted from competition to impending war. Captain Jake Morrison felt it too. He stood on the Defiant's bridge, watching the gathering fleets through the wide window. Something's off here, he muttered, Commander. Lisa Park scanned her instruments. Captain, the Volari ships are building up massive energy reserves. They're preparing for battle, not another test. Before Jake could reply, a new voice crackled through the comms. It was Ambassador Zethera, but her tone had changed, cold, commanding, and certain. Attention, all fleets, she declared. The time for games is over. You were gathered here under false pretenses. The main screen lit up, revealing Zethera's crystalline form. But behind her was something that made Jake's blood freeze. A space station vast beyond comprehension. The size of a small planet, bristling with weapons, pulsing with power. The territorial dispute was a lie, Zethra continued. We created it to lure all your fleets here, to assess your strength, your weapons, your tactics, your resolve. Now we know. The massive station emerged from behind Kepler for 4 to B. Black and silver, it resembled a giant spider, with weapon-laden limbs. Energy crackled around it like lightning, while smaller ships orbited it like furious insects. This is Battle Station Omega-7, Zethra said. It took us 50 years to build. Its shields are unbreakable. Its weapons can obliterate worlds, and now it's aimed at you all. The crew stared, stunned. Dr. Karen White was the first to speak. Captain, the energy readings from that station are astronomical. It's stronger than every fleet combined. Zethra's voice echoed on. The Volari have prepared for decades. We studied every species, every weakness. Omega-7 is invincible. Now you have a choice. The station's weapons glowed brighter. Around it, 500 Volari warships moved into deadly formations, sharp, their crystal hulls shimmering with menace. You have 30 minutes to destroy. Battle Station Omega-7, Zethra declared. If you succeed, the Volari will withdraw from this system forever. If you fail, we will conquer your worlds. Your species will serve us or perish. The transmission ended. Silence gripped the fleets until the species began to respond. The Zephyrian fleet moved first. Their 300 silver ships fanned into a flawless assault pattern. The Corvain Empire's titanic vessels powered up their main cannons. The Therians readied their energy arrays. Every species prepared for the greatest fight of their existence. Captain, said Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez, the fleets are asking for our position in the attack formation. Jake paused, considering. He stared at the station, so massive, so fortified. Even combined, the fleets might not break it. Tell them we'll hold back and observe, Jake ordered. Sir. Park looked puzzled. Shouldn't we join the attack? Not yet, Lisa. Let's watch first. Then the battle began with a thunderous roar. Thousands of ships fired in unison. Beams, blasts, and missiles filled space. The light was so intense, it burned to look directly. It was painful to watch. For 20 minutes, the alien fleets hurled everything they had at the battle station's shields. The Zephyrian ships danced, attacking from every angle. The Corvain warships fired their colossal cannons again and again. The Aetherians unleashed waves of pure energy that lit up the void, but still, the shields held firm. The station didn't even flinch. Its weapons came alive, firing devastating beams that sliced ships clean in half. Several alien vessels erupted. In flames and debris, shields are still at 98%, Dr. White reported. All that firepower, and barely a scratch. Jake nodded grimly. He'd anticipated this. The Volari had planned this for 50 years. They wouldn't build a station that could fall so easily. Charlie, Jake called to the AI thoughts. I've been analyzing the station's structure, Captain, Charlie answered. The shields are formidable. But I noticed something about its position. What is it? It's orbiting Kepler 44 to B. The gravitational dynamics are complex. The station relies on its own gravity field to maintain position. Jake grinned. Thinking what I'm thinking? I believe so, Captain. Its greatest strength may also be its greatest weakness. With only 5 minutes left, the alien fleets began to withdraw. Its ammunition depleted, energy reserves low, and countless ships lost. The station's shields still stood at 97%. The Volari began to celebrate. Zethra's voice returned, smug and victorious. You have failed. The galaxy will now bow to Volari might. That's when the USS Defiant moved. It surged toward the battle station, but didn't fire a single shot. The alien fleets watched in puzzled silence. What could one small ship do where thousands had failed? Captain, asked Weapons Officer Danny Ross, shouldn't we be shooting? No, Danny. We're not here to destroy the station. We'll let it destroy itself. The Defiant traced a strange path around the battle station. It wasn't Attacking. It wasn't retreating. It danced purposefully, with steps only the humans understood. "Charlie," Jake ordered, "initiate the Gravity Cascade Protocol." "Gravity Cascade Protocol activated," Captain Charlie confirmed. "Creating controlled gravitational disturbances." The Defiant's modified engines shifted behavior. Instead of just propelling the ship, they manipulated gravity itself, making subtle distortions around the station. Small disturbances, but compounding rapidly. "Sir," Navigator Helen Carter called, "the station's orbit is destabilizing. It's starting to drift." Jake smiled. "Exactly as planned. Maintain course." The Volari finally noticed. Their station was being pulled inexorably toward the planet. They tried to target the Defiant, but it was too fast and unpredictable. "Warning," Charlie announced. "The station's structural integrity is failing. Gravitational stress is beyond design tolerances." Jake glanced at his crew, who worked harder than ever. Any lesser ship would have been torn apart, but the Defiant was human-made, designed to endure the impossible. "To all fleets, clear the area," Jake broadcast. "This is about to get interesting." The once invincible battle station was helpless. Its own mass betrayed it. Gravity tore it apart from within. In minutes, the station 50 years in the making crumbled, debris spiraling toward the planet's surface. The Volari fleet, stripped of its ultimate weapon, surrendered without another shot fired. The galaxy stared, stunned at the single human ship that had defied the impossible. Silence engulfed space. Thousands of alien ships hovered in stillness, their crews silently watching the debris that once formed the mighty battle station Omega-7. The Volari fleet remained adrift. Like wounded birds, their crystal hulls dim and defeated, Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Defiant, surveying the aftermath of their victory. His crew was exhausted, yet proud. They had saved the galaxy not with superior firepower, but with ingenuity. "Captain," Dr. Karen White called from her station, eyes on her instruments, "I'm detecting massive gravitational disturbances across the system." "What we did it altered the gravity field in this entire sector." Jake nodded knowingly. "That was the plan, Karen. Sometimes you have to break things to make them right." The comms crackled with a new transmission. It was the Galactic Council's chief arbiter, an ancient being whose species had kept galactic peace for millennia. "USS Defiant," the arbiter's voice resonated. "Report to the council chamber at once. All species representatives wish to speak with you." Commander Lisa Park looked uneasy. "Captain, are we in trouble? We did just destroy the largest station ever built." Jake smiled faintly. "Lisa, we saved the galaxy. If that's a problem, then the galaxy has worse issues than us." An hour later, Jake and his senior staff stood inside the Grand Hall of the Galactic Council. The same species who had mocked humanity days before now watched them with respect, suspicion, and wonder. Ambassador Zethara was present too, but shackled in glowing energy chains. Her once vibrant crystal form was cracked and dull. She, the mastermind of the Volari scheme, now awaited trial. "Human captain," she rasped, her voice weak but still seething. "How did you do it? How did one small ship succeed where thousands failed?" Jake stepped forward, his gaze sweeping the assembled species, some insectoid, others like walking stones, a few beings of pure energy. Yet they all shared one thing. They waited for his answer. "You made the same mistake as everyone else," Jake said. "You assumed bigger was better, more ships, heavier weapons, greater power. But you missed the crucial part." "What?" Zethara asked bitterly. "You forgot to think." The hall fell into a hush. Jake went on. "Your station was mighty, sure, huge, armored, shielded, but it was trapped by its own size. The larger something is, the more vulnerable it is to gravity. We didn't need to breach your shields, we just needed to understand the physics." Commander Park stepped up. "Every species builds the same way. Bigger fleets, stronger guns, larger ships. But humanity learned long ago brains beat brawn." Corvin Admiral, arms crossed, asked gruffly, "But how did you know it would work?" The gravitational forces could have torn your ship apart. Dr. White smiled. That's where our AI came in. Charlie didn't just run calculations, it learned, adapting from every data point. Every sensor scan, every gravitational fluctuation, Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez added. Our computer isn't just a machine, it's our partner. It doesn't think for us, it thinks with us. The Etherean representative, glowing within its sphere of light, spoke in a melodic tone. But the risk was enormous. How could you be certain of success? Chief Engineer Bobby Clean stepped forward. Couldn't be sure, but that's what makes us human. We take risks others won't. We try what others think is impossible. The Zephyrion commander, his silver skin shimmering, asked, "Your ship moved in ways that should have been impossible. How did you endure the gravitational forces?" Navigator Helen Carter answered, "We didn't resist the forces, we embraced them. Instead of fighting gravity, we made it our ally. We danced with it." Jake turned to Zethira. "Your battle station was designed to be unstoppable. But everything has a weakness. You just have to be clever enough to find it." The chief arbiter's voice echoed from his high seat. "Captain Morrison, your species has shown us something invaluable, solutions we never imagined." "That's what humans do," Jake said. "We see problems differently. Where others see walls, we search for doors. Where others see defeat, we see opportunity." Weapons Officer Danny Ross grinned. "You all built hammers to smash barriers. You built a key to unlock them." The Mantis Collective's representative, a towering insectoid, clicked its mandibles. "But why only one ship? Wouldn't more have been safer?" Jake chuckled. "That's the question, isn't it? Simple answer, we didn't need more. More ships would have just gotten in the way." "How so?" asked the Crystal Being ambassador. "Because what we did required precision, not power," Jake explained. "We had to create exact gravitational disturbances at specific moments. Too many ships would have caused interference. One ship, with the right crew and AI, was perfect." Dr. White activated a device, projecting a hologram into the hall. It displayed the battle station surrounded by intricate gravitational fields. The station's position depended on a delicate force balance. We just had to tip that balance. The hologram replayed the defiant spiraling path. Each pass created small gravitational waves, Dr. White continued. They combined into a cascade that dragged the station out of orbit. When it started falling, added Charlie's voice via comms, gravitational stress tore its structure apart. Its mass became the weapon that destroyed it, the aliens murmured, beginning to understand, but also growing wary. If humans did this with one ship, what could a fleet achieve? The chief arbiter seemed to sense their concern, did Morrison. Your actions raise serious questions. How can we trust humanity to use such capabilities wisely? Jake scanned the hall. "'Cause we're not conquerors, we're explorers, problem solvers. Today the problem was the Valari. Tomorrow, it'll be something else. But whatever it is, we'll face it. And if another species threatens peace," asked the Corvin Admiral. "Then we'll face that too," Jake replied. "But we'd rather stand beside you, not against you. The galaxy's big enough for all of us, if we're wise enough to share it." Zethira, still confused, asked, "But your ship was so small, how could it be so powerful?" Jake smiled. "'Cause it's not the size of the ship, it's the size of the idea. And human ideas are bigger than any vessel." The surface covered in glowing cracks, like veins of light splitting the ground. Storms of energy raged across continents, and the atmosphere shimmered with unstable currents. "The planet's core is destabilizing," Lumina continued. The energy surges threaten not just the planet, but the entire system. If the core collapses, it will trigger a chain reaction that could destroy nearby worlds. Jake studied the image carefully. "What caused it?" "We don't know," Lumina admitted, her light dimming slightly. "Our scientists have theories, but no solutions. Every attempt we've made to stabilize the core has failed." "And you think humans can help?" Commander Park asked. "We believe so," Lumina said. "Your species approaches problems from perspectives we can't replicate. We need your creativity and your partnership with your AI." Jake turned to Charlie. What do you think? The AI's voice responded calmly. Preliminary analysis suggests this is not a simple geological issue. The energy patterns are ... unique. I will need more data, but I believe this is a puzzle worth solving. Jake looked at his crew. Everyone gear up. We're setting a course for the Thera system. Another impossible problem, Dr. White said with a smile. Jake grinned. Good. Those are the ones worth solving. As the Defiant adjusted its course, the crew prepared for their next challenge. The galaxy was watching. Humanity was just getting started? Asked ChatGPT. ... A massive mining rig? Half buried in the planet's surface, glowing with unstable energy? Beams of exotic matter streamed from its core, feeding the chaotic field around the planet. Charlie, Jake ordered. Plot us a course straight to that platform. We'll have to shut it down manually. Acknowledged, Captain. Calculating optimal path through energy distortions. Course plotted. But I must warn you, the path is highly unstable. Understood. Let's move. The Defiant descended through the churning skies, weaving between bursts of lightning and energy surges. The ship groaned as the shield strained. But the crew pushed forward. Finally, they reached the platform, now barely holding together under the stress it had caused. Prepare a landing team, Jake ordered. I'm going down there myself, Captain Commander Park protested, but Jake raised a hand. This needs a human touch. Charlie, stay with us every step. Guide us. Minutes later, Jake. Dr. White and a security team landed on the cracked surface near the mining rig. The energy was so intense it made the air ripple, but their suits held. Over here, Dr. White pointed to a core chamber where a control interface still flickered. With power, if we can disrupt the energy feed from here, we might collapse the field safely. Charlie, I need you linked in, Jake said. I'm here, Captain, Charlie replied. In there comes. I am mapping the energy flows. There is a sequence 3 conduits need to be shut down in precise order. Any mistake will accelerate the collapse. Tell us the sequence. With Charlie's guidance, Jake and his team worked quickly, dodging arcs of energy and unstable machinery. Every conduit they disabled caused the field to waver and fluctuate, but Charlie's calculations kept them on track. Final conduit, Dr. White said, her hands moving quickly over the controls. Ready when you are, Captain? Do it. The last conduit was cut. For a moment, everything was still in. Then the ground shook violently. But instead of collapsing, the energy field above began to dissipate. The glowing ribbons unweaving themselves like threads unraveling from a fraying cloth. It's working, Charlie said. The field is collapsing in a controlled manner. From orbit, the crew of the Defiant watched as the barrier faded, revealing the planet beneath scarred but alive. We did it, Park whispered. Actually did it. Jake stood on the surface, watching the skies clear. Charlie, what's the status? Planetary conditions stabilizing. The Theons will survive. The Cums crackled with Lumina's voice. Captain Morrison, you've saved an entire species. On behalf of the Ethetherans and the Theons, you have our eternal gratitude. Jake smiled, tired but proud. That's what humans do. We find a way. The Defiant returned to space, their mission complete. Another impossible problem solved. With brute force, but with creativity, courage, and the unique partnership between human minds and AI, and across the galaxy. Word spread again. When all hope is lost, send for the humans. Ask ChatGPT.